Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something incredibly cool. We are bridging thousands of years of Hindu history with 21st century urban living. We're going to explore how you can seamlessly blend ancient Indian Vedic science, specifically these amazing biological farming practices, with modern structural engineering. And the goal? Growing fresh, vibrant leafy greens right on top of your house. Whether you're up in a high-rise city apartment or out in a rural village, we're going to show you exactly how to do this safely and organically.
Okay, let's dive into this, because it's a fascinating question, right? Can the wisdom of ancient India, a system that relies so heavily on natural biological cycles, actually be the key to unlocking the perfect modern terrace garden? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. But, and this is a big but, only if we respect the physical limits of our modern concrete structures.
Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Ancient science, modern rooftops. 2. Rooftop structural load limits. 3. Lightweight soil and containers. 4. Vedic microbial growth boosters. And finally, 5. Growing Telugu leafy greens.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Ancient Science, Modern Rooftops.
The whole foundation of our approach is rooted in Vedic agricultural principles, often modernized as Subhash Palekar natural farming. What's really interesting about this is how it completely flips modern agriculture on its head. Instead of just dumping synthetic chemicals to feed a plant, Vedic farming is entirely about feeding the soil. It uses natural, locally available inoculants, specifically indigenous cow dung and urine, to create this booming absolute powerhouse of a microbial ecosystem. These microbes naturally break down organic matter and deliver the nutrients directly to the plant's roots. It's brilliant.
But before we can bring that soil to life, we absolutely have to make sure our building can handle it. That brings us to Section 2, Rooftop Structural Load Limits.
800 kilograms per square meter. That is the massive, concentrated load that just a single 1.2-meter raised planter can generate when it's filled with wet, traditional garden soil. So why is this a massive problem? Well, most residential balconies and terraces in urban areas are only engineered for a strict live load of about 150 to 200 kilograms per square meter. That means a standard dirt-filled garden bed can exceed your roof safety limit by literally 4 times. And let's be real, you want a garden on your roof, not crashing down into your living room. Wet soil acts like a giant sponge. It can increase its weight by up to 50% after just one good rainstorm.
It's all about context here. Your location dictates your strategy. If you're gardening on a rural village rooftop built right on the ground, or with those super heavy concrete slabs, you've got the luxury of using traditional loam soil and heavy terracotta pots. But if you're on a high-density urban terrace, you are bound by strict weight constraints. You absolutely must pivot to lightweight materials and use your vertical space to make sure your building stays structurally sound.
So, how do we grow healthy plants without all that heavy dirt? Let's get into Section 3, Lightweight Soil and Containers.
And this brilliantly illustrates the fix. We have to swap out that dense mineral soil for a highly porous organic mix. The perfect urban recipe is 50% cocoa peat, which is super light and holds moisture, 40% compost acting as our microbial hub, and 10% perlite, which is this ultra-lightweight volcanic rock that guarantees permanent aeration. By making this simple switch, you're literally cutting the total weight of your garden in half, all while actually improving root health. It's a win-win.
Now, the container you choose is just as crucial. Clay and terracotta, they look gorgeous, right? But they are incredibly heavy and absorb a ton of solar heat. Plastic is light, sure, but it has zero porosity. For rooftop farming, fabric grow bags are a real game changer. They weigh next to nothing, and their porous nature allows for something called air pruning. That just means when the roots hit the edge of the bag, they stop growing outward and branch out internally instead. This creates a massive, super efficient root system.
Okay, before we get to the biology, here is your non-negotiable balcony safety checklist. Stick to lightweight soilless mixes like cocoa peat. Choose small to medium fabric grow bags. Regularly check that your drainage holes are totally clear, because trapped water equals dangerous weight. Strategically place your heaviest pots right over the load-bearing walls, not just floating in the middle of the floor. And always use waterproof trays so water seepage doesn't damage your concrete.
All right, our structure is safe. Our lightweight pots are prepped. Section 4, Vedic microbial growth boosters.
It all starts with the seed. Bijamrita is a traditional bioinoculant used to treat seeds right before planting. Here's how it works. You mix fresh cow dung, cow urine, natural lime, a little handful of forest soil, and water.
Let that ferment for 24 hours. Then, you gently coat your seeds in the liquid and let them dry in the shade. What this does is essentially brew a biological shield around the seed. It protects it from soil-borne fungi and kickstarts this rapid, vigorous root growth right out of the gate.
So the crucial point here is perfectly captured in this idea. Where chemical fertilizers kill life, Bijamrutha brings life back to the soil. You're not just dropping a seed into the dirt, you are introducing billions of beneficial microorganisms into your pristine, lightweight potting mix. You're jump-starting a living ecosystem.
And to keep that ecosystem thriving, we use Jivamritham. Think of this as your ultimate soil activator. You combine cow dung, urine, jaggery for carbohydrates, and pulse flour for protein, creating this exponential microbial breeding ground. You let it ferment in the shade for 3 to 7 days, stirring it clockwise to get some oxygen in there. Once it's ready, dilute it and apply it. But listen up, and this is absolutely vital, only apply this to moist soil. If you pour this liquid gold onto hot, dry soil, you'll literally fry the delicate microorganisms you just spent days cultivating.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5, growing Telugu leafy greens.
Leafy greens are the absolute cornerstone of traditional Telugu cooking. Today we're looking at 3 heavy hitters, todakura, palakura, and bachilikura. Now, they all taste incredible in a bowl of dal, but their agronomic needs up on your roof are completely different. We're talking everything from deep taproots that love the heat, to cool season moisture lovers, to massive tropical vines.
First up is tokatura, or amaranth. This plant is a total powerhouse. It actually thrives in the blazing heat of a southern Indian summer. Because it grows a deep taproot, you'll want a fabric grow bag that's at least 12 by 12 inches. And the real secret here is the cut-and-come-again harvest. Instead of yanking the whole plant out, just take some scissors and snip the main stem about 2 inches above the soil. The plant just regenerates. You can get 3 to 4 continuous harvests out of a single seed. Incredible, right?
Next is palakura, which is true spinach. Now, unlike todakura, palakura completely hates the heat. It is strictly a cool season crop for those winter months. Spinach seeds can be a little stubborn, so pre-soaking them in our Bijamrutha mix is a fantastic hack to break that dormancy and speed up germination. When you're growing palakura in containers, keep the moisture nice and even and always water at the base of the plant in the morning. If you leave those spinach leaves wet overnight, you're practically inviting fungal diseases like downy mildew.
Finally, we have bachilikura, or Malabar spinach. Fun fact, it isn't actually related to true spinach at all. It's a super vigorous, heat-loving tropical vine. The seeds have a really hard outer shell, so you have to scarify them before planting. Just gently rub them with some sandpaper, or soak them in warm water for 24 hours. Because this vine can easily shoot up to 10 feet tall, you're going to need your largest container, we're talking 10 to 12 gallons, and a very sturdy trellis. Just keep harvesting the tips of the vines regularly, and the leaves will stay nice and tender.
So, there you have it. We've covered the structural math, the lightweight materials, the sheer biological power of Vedic inoculants, and exactly how to care for these beautiful regional plants. By blending these ancient practices with modern container safety, you are literally engineering a thriving, chemical-free ecosystem right outside your window. So the only question left for you is, which traditional Telugu green are you going to cultivate first on your own structural-safe, Vedic-powered rooftop? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy farming!